6b, we have another piecewise function. So we have some new equations in here and some new conditions on the end. So first, as always, the first couple questions are going to be these here, some numerical answer ones, and then after that we'll do the graph. So again, to review that, if you're looking for this, you look at the number inside the parentheses and you see which condition that belongs to. The 0 inside would match this one. 0 is less than 3, so we're going to use the first equation, and that you solve that by doing absolute value of 0. We put 0 into the absolute value and we get 0, and that's the answer for I. For the second part, f of 3. Okay, so 3 would be included only on the second equation because it has the equal sign underneath. So we'll put 3 into the second equation there. Negative 3 plus 3, again we get another 0 for the answer. So for 2i is going to be 0. For the third part there, 3i, f of negative 3. Okay, so negative 3 would belong to the first one again because that's less than 3. So we're going to do absolute value of negative 3 will equal 3. Absolute value will always give you a positive result. And then for 4, 7/2. Now if you're not sure what that is, you can put that into a calculator, and that's going to give you 3.5, so that way you can compare it and see which one it belongs to. So 3.5 is larger than 3, so you're going to use the second equation, so we're going to put 7/2 into the x here. So it's going to be negative 7/2 plus 3, and then you want to get common denominators with this. Negative 7/2 plus 6/2, if you get common denominators, will be negative 1/2. So that answers the first 4 parts. So these will be, again, some calculation type questions in the test, and after that we have to do the graph. So now that we have these, we can erase them, and we're going to move on now to the graph. When you do the graph, you can make tables for each of these. If it's a line like it is here, you only need to pick 2 points to do that. But if you have anything else like a square, absolute value, square root, any of those, then it's best to try more than 2 points to make sure you get the graph looking correct. So let's start with the absolute value graph. We're going to make a XY table. So we have y equals absolute value of x. No matter what, whether it's included or not, you always want to begin with whatever number you see here in the conditional statement. So I want to start with 3. Now I know that that's going to be an open circle when I do it. I know it's not included, but I need to have that point there so I know where the graph ends. So we're going to start with 3, and I want to pick some values that are less than that. And so 0 is an easy one to try. Maybe I'll try a negative number as well. So I try the conditional statement, I try a 0, I'll try a negative number also. So let's do like negative 2, negative 1. Doesn't really matter which one. So again, I didn't show tables on the answer key, but this is kind of how you can do it. So I picked the conditional statement one, 0 because it's easy, and then I picked another one that's less than 3. As long as you pick numbers that are less than 3, you can use any number that you want. But I want to do a variety of these, so that way I can get the shape of the graph correct. So start with that. We have absolute value of 3 is 3, so I'll make a XY table on the end. So I do 3, 3 would be the first point. Now that's going to be an open circle. I'm going to put this here just to remind me that has to be open. So this little symbol means it's got to be open circle at 3, 3. Next, absolute value of 0 is 0, so I get 0, 0. That'll be closed. Everything else is going to be closed. Just the first one's going to be open there. Absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2, so I get negative 2, 2. And again, that's going to be a closed circle. Now let's just graph what we have here. We'll come back and we'll do the line later. But now we have those points on the table that we can see. Let's plot those. First we have 3, 3. Okay, so 3, 3 means that we're going to have an open circle there at that point. Then it goes down to 0, 0. And then we have negative 2 and 2 goes to here. So this, it's going to come down to here and go up. Absolute value are V-shaped graphs, and so that's what they're going to look like. In fact, the peak, or wherever you see the point of the graph, is always going to occur where this inside part's 0. So if you see the inside part 0, that's where the kind of like the vertex of that's going to be in this case, and so we have that one. Okay, so next we're going to do, once we have that complete, we're now going to move on to the second equation there, negative x plus 3. We'll make a table for that one. Okay, so this one I had to do at least 3 values. Now the reason why I did 3 values is because, let's suppose I didn't have the negative 2 down there. Well then, I might accidentally think that the graph goes all the way down and keeps on going and it's a line instead. So that's why you need to get the V shape for it. You have to make sure that we either can recognize it from our library functions, or we have to pick the correct points to where we'll get a V shape out of it. Let's take a look at the next one. We're going to do, this one here is negative x plus 3. So negative x plus 3, and we'll erase this, and we'll put the new one in there. Okay, so this one, we have to use the conditional statement one. We're going to use a 3 there. So we'll start with the 3. We're going to pick any other number that is greater than 3. So let's use a 4. We're going to put that into here. So 3 goes into here. We get negative 3 plus 3. That's going to give us a 0. So 3 comma 0. That's going to be closed because of the equal sign that we have here. For 4, we do negative 4 plus 3, and we get negative 1. The coordinate's going to be 4 and negative 1. That's also going to be closed. Let's plot those. 3 comma 0 is going to be closed right there. And then we have 4, negative 1. That's going to be closed also, and then they'll just keep on going down this way. Now, we don't have any more absolute value that comes after this. It's not going to continue, because for the absolute value, you're only using the values that are less than 3. So that's why you don't see the graph continuing more after that. Likewise with the line, we don't have the graph going out this way, because we have to only use values that are greater than or equal to 3. So that's piecewise functions means you're only using, you're basically graphing pieces of graphs, not the whole thing, because you have these conditional statements.